I think that's my cue. Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, everybody, free enterprise fans. We are here with a game from the Fireball Fiesta on this, the 43rd anniversary of my birth. I am doing exactly what I want. I am getting to commentate for a run of the All Forked Cup tournament. I am here in the commentary booth with Guerin. We've got Drinks Glue in the restream. We have Rowdy Sniper doing the tracking. Guerin, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing about as good as I can possibly be doing, considering I was scrambling to get a work thing done before I came on to commentate this. So, survived that, and now I get to watch the racers try to survive this lovely seed.
Fantastic. I was eating pie. We have Rosa as our hero for tonight, which is always an exciting time. It means we won't have to go searching for a white mage. And we have those the five standard goals that must be, or well, some of which must be completed. Forging the legend sword with the adamant, completing Cave Bahamut, defeating the king and or queen at the Town of Monsters, and conquering the vanilla Masamuna altar. And our three variable ones are complete the sealed cave, burn village mist with the package, and launch the Falcon. Interesting.
Yes, because normally, since this is a forced magma seed, you don't usually have to go down the hook route. But once the Falcon is there, maybe it makes sense to go to an early hook route if you see the right boss there, you have the right party. What kind of pie? I think 3.14157 roughly.
Nope.
Anyways, no, you were
Not
eating
this
something a little
time.
more tasty.
Yes, I was. My mother made lemon meringue.
Well, very good. That's
Yes,
a fun
definitely.
one.
Hmm. So yes, our runners are going to have to complete 6 of those 8 objectives in order to complete the seed.
Yes. So, Firebound Fiesta, the flag set fork tweaks, as it were. We do have Edward Heal in there for some healing. If you didn't have a white mage, we kind of do. Ooh, looks like we are actually
We're on
getting
our way,
underway here.
and we
All
have
right.
Rosa, and it seems to be Sid,
Yeah, that's a Sid.
and a
That's a
Sparkle,
package.
and a package. Well, that's one quest that's going to be concluded pretty quickly, I would imagine. Should also
Uh,
provide
y-
or could also provide our runners with another character.
unless it's another Sid, it can. It
That's
does
true,
raise the
yeah.
question: do you want to go to typo to see who the character is in the bed first before you launch the package? Because once you launch the package, you have to take that cutscene fight if you go in there. We'll see. Or it might be early enough, which is like, let's just get the character and get this over with. Let's see what the racers do. Tallgrant is going
Yeah.
to
Both of them
go
headed to
right to.
Mist, yeah.
Yeah, and Gilmok is doing the same thing. Makes total sense. We're gonna get some looting done here. Oh, never not. I thought we might be with that side, but we're getting a synced
Just
up
getting some.
burning.
Yeah. And it looks like Kane is the character on the docket there. If anyone wants to pick up the dragoon.
I think that's a pretty fair deal because very frequently in this flag set, the Avenger will be just sitting in a shop somewhere. And yeah, Kane with an Avenger in this flag set is extraordinarily powerful. And especially if you find, like, actual equipment for him besides the weapon. Every now and again, we get some power shirts, black shirts, crystal rings, Zeus gauntlets, things of that sort.
And the dragoon
Uh,
summons a titan and knocks down a mountain.
yeah, I mean, FBF can certainly lend itself to a short seed, fanciest. I think the shortest seed I know that's been completed, though not in the tournament, is under 40 minutes in this flag set. We'll see if
Right,
they
because
have.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I'm saying it just depends on how fast you can get the objectives done. I mean, getting a free one right here off the start, that's a nice way to start.
It looks like both runners. Oh no, I stand corrected. Looks like one runner, Tallgrant in particular, is going to go and cash in that cane, whilst Gilmok goes to the watery pass to loot some chests, which will all be full of cash.
Yeah, we have T money on.
Garen, my friend, I can't hear you if you're talking. It
Sorry,
seems
just
that there's some technical difficulties here. We've got Kainatsu in Kaipo. Not a bad spot to find him.
yep, very nice. Even if it goes a little bit awry, it's not going to be that terrible here.
Ah,
There
you're
we
back
go.
with us. Oh, good. Yeah.
All right, Gilmok is back to check on Rose's mom. Iridia's mom. Sorry, got the wrong mom here. It's a crystal.
It's a crystal.
Well, it's one for the pile. There's
But
still
you know
10
what
key
it
item
is?
bonus.
And just the key item check provides a 2% experience bonus.
All right, let's see.
Oh, wait, does the crystal count towards that 10 key item bonus?
Yes, it does. It is a key item. It doesn't actually have any use because the Zeromus fight is off, but you can still pick it up, and it counts. So an Xcal in the Mist Weapon Shop. You have the wrong melee fighter for that, but both runners will be definitely looking for an Avenger Sword.
What happens? I'm curious. What happens if our runners go to the Zeromus fight?
Well, the fight will not engage. Zormos will simply have a little chat with you. Oh, we've got an edge in the bed. All right. Nice.
15,000 gold in a pot. I think Rosa just took someone's life savings there.
We're just going to pretend that monsters leave all of their riches in pots because it's a nice hiding place.
I don't know. I think there's some poor Kaipo villager whose retirement has just been cut off. Tallgrant going to claim the crystal now.
Did we see an Avenger in the shop? I'm sorry, I must have missed it if I did.
And Gilmok going to Damshan to launch a hovercraft, potentially preparing for that launch the Falcon quest later.
Yep, and besides the hook route quests, it also can be used for the 2 tail turn-ins and the 2 monster boxes on the hook route. So there are 4 checks that the hook can gate in addition to the 1 actual objective. So odds are pretty good that you're going to need the hovercraft at some point in the seed.
Yes, for any who don't know, your key item checks are... Let me see if I got this right. The key item checks are where they would be in the vanilla game, and also there's 8 chests or 7 chests in the overworld and 1 chest in the moon that have monsters in the box. 1 chest in the lunar overworld.
Strictly speaking, it's the 3 here in Eblin Castle. It's the 1 in the Tower of Zot. It is the 2 on the hook route, and it's the 1 on the giant and the hairdryer chest on the moon. Those are the 8. LST, no, there's no need to take anything on the LST unless you are looking for experience or maybe a holy sword or such that you hadn't found earlier.
Tallgrant up against some Mad Ogres. Has an hourglass to slow them down a bit.
Yep, has that. Also has an assassin dagger on this cane, I believe, which can be used to hopefully swoon them.
Gilmok has decided to go to Kaipo to activate that cane.
That makes sense. Looks like the agility was not quite set up right for the assassin play here.
Now we got a second. Can you explain that to us?
With an assassin dagger, if I believe the monster's ETB timer is at 0, then it's possible to swoon them. But it depends on the relative agility setup at the time, and I guess this isn't set up right.
I mean, I don't know a lot about the relative agility sorcery, but I gather it's based off the hero, which would mean off of Rosa, no matter where she is in the party, right?
Rose is always relative agility 5, because she's the hero, so is anchoring. If the other characters have an agility that is faster than her, then they will be some number lower than 5, because that's how many ticks it will take on the clock for them to come around. And it also depends on what the monster's relative agility be, if they're faster or slower than she is. And again, I'm not very familiar with how it works for the characters in general, because I tend to go with this more by feel than actual math.
Sometimes it's easier just to know something of how the system works, and then, like you say, just feel it out.
Something like that. I mean, for example, I know that if you get an Edge hero start, it is possible for Edge, I believe, to have the right setup to do it if he goes right to Eblin Castle and uses the Hourglass and has the Assassin Dagger. So that's a little bit of a long time for Tallgrant on this chest. We're going to hope it's worth it for him. There's a Baron key.
Might well be. Gilmok, meanwhile, is headed to Mount Hobbs, so...
All right. Yeah, Hobbs is a character check. We're going to hope it's not another Sid or a Kane. One of the things, a feature of FBF I've seen in practice is you rarely see all 7 characters that are supposedly in the seed, because frequently there's one hiding at the giant or some other nasty place where it's like they're nowhere else, and you just aren't going to see them. Well, we got Tella. Well,
Dark
that's
Knight
nice.
Cecil.
We found a free source of exit. That's nice.
In the Dark Knight, we cannot just let him tell us about justice in this particular swag set.
Actually, we get no speeches from DKC in FBF. We just simply get Dark Knight Cecil waving until you happen to stop him, which with the vampire is very quickly to do. So,
And Tallgrant going after the Black Cat and Lamaya.
and unfortunately, that is Kane down. It came back up. Yes, it is a very nice sigh of relief to see DKC in an early spot with very low attack power. Unlike something like, let's say,
Cave Bahamut, King of Monsters.
Cave Bahamut is a very nasty place to see the DKC.
Masamuna Altar.
Also a bad place to see it. The King spot in the Fey March is a bad place to see it. Speed isn't that great either, but at least it's not quite as much damage.
Pretty much you don't want to see him in any of those 4 consistent regular quest spots. And there's a swoon taking out the
there's a
last Lamaya.
swoon. All right.
Gilmok headed to Fable Defense.
There's a rat tail. All right. Well, once we have a hook, we can check that. Well, we have more royalty attacking Pool. Apparently, the King Queen of Eblin are in an expansionist mode this seed.
Well, their castle's in ruins. They might as well go and look at the real estate market for other castles, right?
I don't think they're looking to buy it.
This one looks a little too earthquakey for their taste, I imagine. Checking out the item shop in Agart. Some Cure 2s and Blizzards.
Yep. What did the Dark Knight leave behind in Fubul? Dark Knight left behind a White Spear.
White Spear. Well, you got that cane there.
Oh, there's an Artie Bow for Tallgrant, a nice brand. That's nice. I guess the Dark Knight must have stolen Kane's weapon. Apparently, even the Dark Knight knows you can't trust Kane.
Just Dragoons in general.
Oh, we've got the Agart NPCs getting in the way there.
Children. Children being children. Gilmok heading to the Antlion Cave, it looks like. And Tallgrant coming back to check Hobbs.
Yep, we'll probably be happy to see the Tella there for the early exit.
Certainly makes the Antlion check more appealing when you don't have to walk all the way back out. Let's see who is buried in the sand in the Antlion Cave.
Fancies, it depends. It depends on the runner's philosophy on the early game. Some runners like to not leave behind any of the early checks, just in case one of them actually happens to have value. some decide there's going to be a fate or two. I mean, with Tella in the party, that is at least a little push towards maybe doing ordeals. If we see DKC somewhere, that is definitely a push toward ordeals.
Speaking of DKC, Tallgrant taking on the Dark Knight at the top of Hobbs. And
Well,
there's a
there
twin
is
heart for
music.
Gilmok.
There is music behind the Antlion Cave. So apparently that must be a very special antlion. It apparently lays twin harps instead of laying eggs.
But it was a mist dragon, so we know where the twin harps come from now.
Well, that means there's only one because we killed the mist dragon. Uh-oh. A little bit of
That means like
backcheck
7 years of bad luck or something, right?
It just means that you have to keep relaunching new seeds every single day or something like that.
Ah. Gilmok looks like going to the Baron Inn to check that out, and possibly the Waterway. Or at least the shops with the Baron Key. 22,000 gold in that innkeeper's pot. We have a twin and an octomum.
Well, that's a Palom. Okay. Some offensive firepower there.
It's the left-handed twin.
Both twins are pretty good in their own right.
But no, that's how I tell them apart. Palom with an L is left-handed, and Porum with an R is right-handed.
Interesting way to do it. I always just tell it by which color cape they're wearing.
And we've got a Lunar Sparkle. The Wyvern is our backup for the Octomam in the Baron Inn, and Wyvern has gas, apparently.
Not very effective gas either, but
No.
the Dragoon Spear we saw a little bit earlier would be a very nice thing to have here. We don't have it, though, on either runner's side, but this is a very slow spot, so I think they'll be okay against this Wyvern. It should be okay.
Tallgrant has completed the Antlion Cave and picked up his twin harp.
And the Wyvern is down. All right. So we have Black Magic online. It's the Magma
It's a
Key.
Magma Key. Oh.
We can get underground. All right. Who gave that Wyvern eggs? I don't know if it was eggs so much as beans.
I mean, it is a Wyvern, perhaps, like, eats dragon eggs or something. We'll see where Gilmok decides to go after this.
Well, I think it's down to Agar to actually turn... Oh, I could be wrong. All right, it's going to be Evelyn Castle first.
Find those 2 key items hiding in there.
Looks like Tallgrant's going to give us a check of the... Well, first the town of Troya. See if there's a check of the doggo, because there were blizzards bought earlier. Passes on the guy ahead because he hasn't seen the Palom yet. Got some ninja steel there.
There's those vampires. Gilmok taking on the Black Cat and Lamaya treasure chest.
Taking some turtle insurance here in Troya. And we're going to give a check to this doggo. So Tallgrant's ideal is this is the Darkness Crystal or it is the Hook. Those would be the 2 ideal things to see here.
It's a tough call whether the Hook or the Magma Key is actually better, since that Falcon is... launching the Falcon is on the Hook route, and there's all those key item checks on the way.
In this case, since the Magma Key was actually in a Sphere 0 location, I mean, Baron was available from the start, it's probably better to take the Magma Key first and come back to Hook Route later if you need to do it. Just the time involved. I mean, my personal preferences with Magma Key that easily available. You get it's like Falcon is your 6th. Okay, then we're gonna do it. But maybe you get the objectives where it's like maybe you can skip that.
And there's the rat tail for Gilmok.
Yep. And Tallgrant is still searching for this doggo chest. That'd be 6 out of 6 here. Nope, 5 out of 6.
One flame dog.
One flame dog also with indigestion.
Those blizzards turned out to be completely unnecessary.
White shirt.
And it's a white shirt.
Looks like Tallgrant's going to run that out, because that is actually a pretty good item for White Mage defense. Or Cecil if we get Cecil later.
I guess exit doesn't work here, eh?
It doesn't work. There is a warp spell, but unfortunately Tella is not upgraded, so warp isn't available either. You warp down to the first floor, but you can't warp from the first floor back down to the airship because the game can't really put you into a flying airship when you leave.
And also in the vanilla game, once you got here, you were stuck here.
Abandon all hope ye who enter here.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I think you'd say it of the Z zone, but not this. But yeah.
Gilmok taking on those mad ogres already has them stopped with an hourglass.
Doing some life glitches to get a little more power. Tallgrant is going to do the Fabul check that was done earlier by Gilmok. So right now, runners are sort of trading back and forth some of these checks.
Now, for any who might not know, the life glitch, I know Tallgrant did a little bit of it earlier. Any who might not know, when you use life on a target, it raises from the dead with 5 times its vitality stat in hit points. So if you use it on Palom, and Palom has 15 vitality, Palom will come back with 75 hit points. All enemies in this game have 0 vitality, which means they come back with, if I do the math right, 5 times 0 being 0 hit points, meaning they revive and then instantly perish once more, which grants you experience for killing the enemy twice.
I don't think Gilmok did see that shop, so that's a very good advantage for Tallgrant here. Just doesn't have the money to buy the Avenger right now, so we'll have to come back for it a bit later. But luckily, there are other reasons to revisit Fabul Castle. If Tallgrant gets the Magma Key first, for example, we can do some looting underground, come back, do the Sheila 1 check, and get an Avenger on the way.
And Gilmok taking on Staleman and Skulls.
He wasn't close, John. He was almost 100,000 gold short.
And a Quake takes out those skulls, leaving the Staleman to punch the left-handed twin and put him to sleep.
Tallgrant was thinking about visiting the item shop, but decides, I gotta come back here anyways. We'll do that check a little bit later. We are off to, looks like, Baron Inn next.
That Baron Key may get turned in. Dragoon Spear for Gilmok.
Well, 22,000 is a nice chunk of change on the way.
Another 12.
Right. Gilmok is going to go underground, though, so here we go.
Going to throw a key down a well and cause a massive earthquake.
So, moral of the story, don't drop keys into wells anywhere in the Ring of Fire.
I mean, that's just generally good advice. Tallgrant taking on the Gassy Wyvern.
And as before, the gas is completely ineffective. We got a zerked up cane. And the zerked up cane is very, very fast.
Very powerful, too. And Gilmok heads underground, crashing into the mountain, and then spiraling into the depths below. Heading
Somebody
right to
get a check.
Tomra.
Tomra, maybe we'll get a treasury check here. Get a look at the job dwarf. Poppy farmer. Okay, so this is where Elaine's problem came from.
I do like my lemon poppy seed muffins.
You like the tops of them though, or just the whole thing?
Oh, the whole thing. But I don't have to
Found
do
the
random drug testing for work, so.
we find a Zeus gauntlet and we find a crystal sword here in the Tomra shops. So very stacked for a Cecil.
But no Cecil to wield it.
And we've seen 6 out of the 7 characters in the seed because we have edges in the seed. So there's only one more chance at Cecil. Or anybody else, for that matter.
Now, does the fact that there was an Odin for sale there indicate that Rydia's in the seed?
No, the shops give you no indication of who might be in the seed. All of the summon orbs, I believe, that are normally accessible, Sylph, Odin, Bahamut, Leviathan, they are all somewhere in the shops.
Makes sense.
So if you see a Rydia in the seed, you know there's a Bahamut somewhere for you. Whether it's dwarf, a chest, randomly, or a shop, but it is somewhere in the seed.
But if you see a Bahamut, that doesn't tell you that there's a Rydia in the seed.
Nope.
It
could
like
just
Gilmok
be there to match.
Oh,
Just be there
Gilmok's
messing you.
headed to Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, it makes sense. Let's see. Ella is not promoted, though. I know you have to complete the sealed cave anyways, but you could always get the key item from it without having to do it.
Does Palom have warp?
It has to be level 29. I think Palom's going to be a little bit short at this point, given what we've done.
He's 5. He's a little bit short all the time.
Level 24. 5 levels is possible, maybe, if there's no split XP here, but if there's any split XP, this is not going to be good.
There's Asura.
I'm not going to comment, John. Sorry.
Gilmok still taking all the dwarf's money. There's a Masamuna.
All right, Grant has an
Still
Avenger. We've seen a power shirt now in the dwarf shop. So the racers are sort of trading off various elements of power here. If Tallgrant can put together both of these things, that cane is going to do some work.
Well, Tallgrant's going to toss that Baron key, or Magma Key. Toss the Baron Key in the well. That would not be particularly effective. He's going to toss the Magma Key in the well. And
Cost of homeowners insurance and Agart. Well, I think in this kind of situation, they just sort of rebuild each other's houses. They don't really deal with insurance companies or things of that sort.
We have a purple robe, which is one of the Mylons. Mylon and Gas.
I heard that as Mylan and Gas, and it just doesn't sound right for a minute.
No, Wyvern has Gas.
But does he have Gassed?
No, Mylon has Gassed. And what is the name of a second baseman? We got Tallgrant going the same place here. The Gasts are down on Gilmok's side, which means Mylon is throwing out some lit ones.
And will occasionally alternate with a punch. Tallgrant is also going to Dwarf Castle. He's not going to check the shops first. We're getting right into the fights.
I think with that Avenger, Tallgrant probably has what he wants.
Yes.
I'm not sure how effective that slow will be, because I think... Aren't those lightnings... Oh, there we go. Never mind. Irrelevant. Mylon's body.
Yep, Stardust makes good sense here, just to sweep everything. Otherwise, Kate has an annoying tendency to do the odds and take out Ghast. Stardust only takes out one Ghast.
Behind Mylon, we have... a Fairy Queen.
Well, yeah, Shura is here. Not a very... Okay, there's an edge. So we don't have to go back for that edge in the bed. We can just simply hit the edge right now.
Leaving
And
Sid
elephants
behind.
are our hardest hit.
And Kane doing more than the... I think it's 3,000 damage here? Necessary to take her out in one blow?
Yep.
2 or 3,000 hit points? I can't remember.
3,000 hit points. But with a Rune
3,000.
Axe, it's not going to put up much of a fight.
And now instead of just stepping on that that hand or putting the sword through it or anything like that, they're just going to watch it crawl its way up and steal the crystal. Mylon's
Or whatever
calling
key
out
item it happens
overbody
to
on
be.
tallgrant side to him. Sorry?
Or whatever key item it happens to be.
Well, yes.
Because with the warp glitch, that's actually the sealed cave's crystal room.
And what is Luca wearing around her neck? The
Earth crystal. All of a sudden, I have questions now about these dwarves and whether they really had troubles with their crystal.
That was the fake one. Luca had the real one.
And it is the darkness crystal.
There's
So
crystals in the crystal rooms.
So that's a little bad news for Grant, because he's not going to be able to warp to get this darkness crystal, whereas Gilmok was able to do so. So at this point, let's see.
Maybe Edge can do some ninja magic to get back in there.
I don't think it's yeah. So right now, Gilmok is one key item away from go mode. Basically, he needs either the hook, the Luca key, or the 2 halves of 4. Either one, and let's go. And if darkness happens to hold the answer, that could be really bad news. Darkness does open up 2 checks: the one on the giant and the one on the hairdryer chest.
And Tallgrant will be getting the Earth Crystal.
Yep, which is 2 character checks and 1 key item check, because Tallgrant's already seen what's in the doggo chest. Gilmok is not, so maybe Gilmok might have more reason to go there if he's feeling that might be the answer to getting go mode.
2 characters and a key item, and it will give Rosa exit.
So that's less important with the fact that Tella has exit. Unless you want to get rid of Tella.
Oh, we'll see what Gilmok chooses to do. Goes immediately to Toroya, and I'm imagining not going to go turn in that twin harp just yet.
Depends. I mean, there's no better time to check it than right here, although you wouldn't heal first if you're going to do the twin harp check. Yes, Grant does have the Earth Crystal.
Tallgrant heading down into the Town of Monsters. There's a freebie check here in what is normally the Rat Tail Cave or Rat Tail Chest, and we of course have the King and Queen of the Town of Monsters as objectives.
Yes, we'll see if it's a rude Fey March or at least a doable Fey March. A lot of money there for Gilmok in this treasury.
There's a pan.
Pan's nice. That is 2 checks now for Tallgrant, because it's not set up Sheila 1 yet. We got bandanas. All right.
Oh, right, the whacking Yang over the head will not actually provide a key item.
Nope, it'll provide some random item. Hopefully it's good. Maybe a moon veil, that would be nice. Okay,
I see
veil in
Valvolus
the
and a Sparkle. Yeah.
veil in the queen spot, a sparkle in the king spot. None of those are good news at this point. We're out of here.
What's the worst case scenario for that Sparkle? We've already lost Wyvern.
The worst case scenario would probably be Ogopogo.
Ogopogo, yeah.
Because
Best case
Ogopogo
would be Plague.
best case would be plague, probably,
Yeah.
yes.
And yeah, Ogopogo's punches would be brutal there.
Same would be with the case with the D-Lunars if they're there. Even the Hail Dim is not going to be fun there. Fade March might be right, because that a Val in the Queen spot is so fast, it's like Val is going to be chaining between weeks and tornadoes and all the rest of that stuff. It is not a fun time.
But we do have a cane to get her unspun.
The problem is that's one of the faster spots in the game, so unless you are very, very high level and can outspeed the Veil, it's just not a good time if you have the right power.
There's an Excalibur.
Well, as a dart into that Veil, that makes it more doable. If you get the Exhale and a Spoon, maybe that Veil is on the table again.
Tallgrant heading back up to the blue planet surface.
Yeah, we're going to get the Pan turn in. Makes complete sense.
Yeah, seems reasonable. And Gilmok claiming the white shirt from the Flame Dog chest.
All right, Tallgrant's about ready to cash in the Pan and see what goods Sheila is holding today. Really needs her to have a Luca key that can get that Darkness Crystal and get back on track here.
That would be interesting.
Aha!
There it is. Good call. And Gilmok sees
And a hook.
Ooh. Oh, hello.
Well,
and we've got the we've got the Fabul Gauntlet standing in the Magister's spot.
Well, good news for Tallgrant is, as soon as Tallgrant does that Luca key and gets the Darkness Crystal, he will be in go mode.
Yeah.
This is not a fun thing to see for Gilmok over here, because at this point, given we know where the key items are distributed, only thing that could be of value here doing this Tower of Zot is a half forge at this point.
Tallgrant immediately headed to Cave Eblon to go launch the Falcon, it looks like.
Yep, it might also be looking for key items in the chests.
Yep. That's a reasonable play. Yeah.
Yeah, because it does not have darkness yet. Can't really pass up the two chests that are there. I'm not sure what we're doing with Vallum.
Tallgrant, if that crystal counts, then Tallgrant does have 10 key items for double experience.
Yes, the crystal counts, so that's 10 key items.
Mm-hmm.
I think, John, I think Tallgrant has to, because darkness is not found yet. The darkness is here and he passes on it. That's horrible news, but we know it's not there, but he doesn't.
Yeah, so we will probably see the monster box checks. Most likely. I'm trying to do the math here. The Darkness Crystal does give us Cave Bahamut and the Vanilla Masamune Altar.
Right.
It might, with the Prociote and Jucleote chest, give us half of the Forge.
Yes, and might have the other half of the Forge in the Giant chest, for example.
Yeah, so it could be that Gilmok has everything needed to get everything without dealing with the Sealed Cave or the Falcon. It's possible, is my point.
It is possible. I wouldn't say it's necessarily that likely, but it is possible.
No, for sure. Well, actually, thinking about it, there's... we know it's in the Sealed Cave, and unless there's a monster... I missed what that was. It was a yellow thing.
That is a Sand Ruby, which is...
a Sand Ruby, okay.
It is no use at all in this case.
It's a duplicate.
So... Yeah, so that's good news for Gilmok in a way.
Yeah, so I was going to say, unless the other half of the forge is on this route here, then my brain is saying that everything Gilmok needs is accessible without completing Sheila.
It depends on where the pink tail is located.
Why is that?
Because we have not yet seen what's in the. What check have we not gotten to yet? We've not seen Mount Ordeals yet.
We
But
haven't seen
like
Mount
that's
Ordeals, we
they have
haven't
access
seen-
to it, but
We haven't seen Ordeals, we haven't seen Earth Crystal, which we're getting right now. We haven't seen either Top of Tower or Tower Key, but we don't know where the Tower Key is, so...
yeah.
Tallgrant headed into Upper Babel, I think, technically. And we've got Dr. Luge in Valvalda's spot.
Luge is an elemental fiend, just seems wrong.
Luge is a fiend, though. I'd buy that.
Well, yeah, if there's a robotic elemental fiend, that might qualify, but we don't have those yet.
I think just as a general jerk, though.
Well, yes, there's always the general jerk population. All right, Tallgrant has found the Mad Ogre's chest, and needs, I think, this to be an element of the forge, because if that's the case, then we know that Gilmok does need to find the pan in some capacity.
I suspect he will. There's at some point you're going to be checking who the king and queen of Town of Monsters are, and why would you not take that free check right there?
Tallgrant's trying to get some Bacchus wine off of these Mad Ogres. If the steal chance failed there. I will try it again.
And Gilmok has completed the chatter fights and has returned to Baron Castle.
Unfortunately, the Mad Ogres are saying no.
Yeah.
I didn't see what that was.
A defense sword.
Okay, so unfortunately the Tower of Zot was a big fat goose egg.
Yep. But right here at Baron, Gilmok does have the Baron key. And that does give us 2 checks. And
nope, just one check.
Just one? Oh, the
basement's not a check in this slice. That's a summon.
Yeah. My bad. Yep. Still, it's a check and a character.
It is. It is a little bit of a slow check because 2 bosses and some cutscene.
Yes, you get whichever boss was standing in your way at the start to hand you the first item. Will try and join your party unsuccessfully.
Even without a Moon Veil, I mean, as long as Edge can get 2 turns off, I mean, that's going to be the majority of Veil's health in that spot.
Yeah, the Mad Ogre check gave us a spoon.
And I don't know if we know for certain there's no Eddie in the seed, but we've seen, I think, 6 out of 7 characters, so it's unlikely there is an Eddie in the seed.
I would even think if there was an Edward, even with that spoon, probably not going to take him now, right?
I don't think you can take Edward now. Okay, we've got the Ogopogo.
We got Rubicon standing one square south of where he normally does, and Ogopogo was our Lunar Sparkle to start the seed.
That's good news in a way for the runners, because that means it is not at that king spot, which means at this point the rules it can be now is the D Lunars.
Which means it's still just a bit more likely to be Plague.
I'm not sure math works that way, but it sounds right.
Well, we haven't seen D-Lunars, Pale Dim, Plague. I think that's it, right?
Those are the 3 we haven't seen.
So now it's 1 in 3 chance that it's Plague instead of 1 in 4.
Or you could just simply say it was always either 1 or 0, depending on what's actually there.
Yeah, it's true. The Karate is standing in Rubicon's spot.
With an Avenger on Kane, this will not be that bad at all. You've got the Mylon Z on the throne, so the elements have decided to change places.
So Zombie Mylon is telling him to fall flat into the deep ravine. The deep ravine, of course, is nowhere near Baron. If they were going to fall flat into the deep ravine, they'd have to take the Serpent Road to get to Mysidia first, and then walk a long way to Ordeals.
Have you been underneath all of the basement passages in Baron Castle?
Nope, but it looks like Mylon's going there.
Mylan is just making more dust for the cleaners to clean up from the carpet.
And we will see what key item Gilmok gets for this particular...
Hey, it's
and
number
that
7.
looks like Cecil.
It is Cecil, so there was the guy in the seed.
And now...
And it says no, because the problem now is you have to actually go to Ordeals and spend the time to get him online. And at this point, that's going to take at least 5 minutes. And you know that basically, unless it is exactly the hook, you're probably not getting the time investment back out of it for progression.
That makes sense.
Of course, else going to be an FPF seed, Curious. Just can't be the hero. We don't want any vanilla agility getting in the way of our seeds here.
And we get the...
Oh, there's half a forge.
Half a forge.
Honestly, Curious, I see Cecil and probably more than half the seeds are run.
Which would make sense since there's 7 characters in the seed and what, 11 available? Or because Fusoya's not in it, so...
Yeah, there's 11 available. Maybe just slightly less likely because he can't be the hero, but better than 50% odds to be in there.
And Tallgrant is dropping down into Lower Babel. Kane's spinning through empty air.
It is a Golbez at the top of Babel, so probably just as well we're going to fade him eternally here.
Gilmok back underground is headed up to the Sylph Cave to set up Sheila 1.
That is unfortunate because it's not yet checked the freebie in the Feymarch, so this is going to be a double dip of the Sylph Cave, unfortunately.
And Tallgrant has completed objective number 8 to launch the Falcon.
Although, good news for Gilmok is, this will at least give the Luca key that will be the Go mode. The downside, potentially there, is it will not give the hook, so we'll not be able to get the spoon or the Falcon objective.
Or turn in the rat tail.
Yeah, but if Rat happens to leave there half a forge, that could be a bad thing. Or if Pinktail does. That means that you would have to get through that Sparkle and that Val and whatever rudeness may be laying at the Mesa Altar and the Cave Value.
Tallgrant turns in the rat tail for a tower key.
Round and round in circles we go. Tallgrant has found everything but the Forge and the Darkness Crystal and the Pinktail. Oh my.
Let's see then. So doing that math, just missing the... Yeah, so he's got access to 5 out of 6 objectives. Because obviously Cave Bahamut and the Masamune Altar are on the moon.
Now, Gilmok is officially in Go mode because he has access to 6.
Right.
And Tallgrant has run into the dwarf and is just going to eternally block the staircase.
It's a dwarf thing. I think it's a cultural moment for them.
All I'm going to say is their culture is an upgrade in that case.
Well, they've been living underground for a long, long time. Gilmok headed to Mysidia to launch a big whale.
Yes, and we're going to see how rude, as it were, the moon checks are going to be here. It does also open up the hairdryer chest for some levels and maybe a chance at that legend sword, because legend would allow one of the 2 Feymarch spots, one of the moon spots, to be faded. Okay, Tallgrant, good timing here. Do the objective. You're gonna feel really bad when you find out what this is, but better to get it now than later.
Tallgrant headed into the sealed cave. Kane will not be leaving the party after completing this.
What makes you so sure?
Uh, Past experience.
Are you on his side?
On whose side?
Kane's side.
Isn't Kane on our side?
Is he?
How should I know? Have you asked him?
You don't ask Kane if he's on your side. He tells you if he's on your side.
He seems to always be on your side. Gilmok launching not only the big whale, but the giant of Babel.
This is going to be the cheeky play for the last arm chest.
If this is the Legend Sword, it could be a very important cheeky play.
We're going to find out.
Money?
Yep.
Tallgrant
Hoping
taking
it's
a little
hoping
nap
it's
in the
not
middle of
all the way down at the last chest, which is its vanilla location. Hoping it's somewhere here on this first floor.
Not looking that promising. Oh, there it is.
Aha!
Last arm doing some searching.
Yeah.
And Tallgrant going to claim, finally, the Darkness Crystal.
Yeah, and probably is doing a bit of a facepalm off stream. I think he'll probably feel behind at this point, considering he's got literally almost every other key item and just done most of their checks. Failed
And
him!
there's Taildim, which now reduces our king of monsters to either the Lunar Dragons or Plague.
Alright, I guess we get to find out pretty soon which one it is.
Gilmok might actually attack him when he goes down there, so we may see.
Alright, last arm is down. Is this a legend sword? The only thing it can be is a pink tail. It's a crystal ring.
Crystal bracelet, yeah.
Good defensive gear. Also some nice agility there.
But not what he was looking for, I'm sure.
There are some fights in this game where you can really be happy for a crystal ring. I guess we're going to the moon.
Well, someone's got to.
We have astronauts for that. Probably going in a better vehicle than a whale anyways.
Look, if you were going to fly to the moon, would you want it to be built in a rigorously developed, masterfully constructed space shuttle built on years and years and years of research? Or would you rather it be on the mystic vehicle developed by the people who actually lived on the moon?
First, I'd rather it be the thing that was developed by, people who actually, have already done the whole thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Tallgrant, meanwhile, has completed the sealed cave objective.
Yep, so that is now 3 objectives down for Tallgrant, and
Prociotes and Jukliotes are under attack in Gilmok's side of things here.
yep. So Tallgrant now has access to his choice. He has access to 7 of the objectives now. We can fade one of them.
And I imagine right now fading that Valvulus is probably on his mind.
Possibly. Although, again, with the spoon and with the X-Scale from where he went, it's more doable, I think, for Tallgrant, especially after the moon, than it would be for Gilmok at this point.
Now, if this is the Legend Sword, that means that the moon is entirely required.
At least taking the whale up there, yes.
110,000 experience for knocking a bunch of hair dryers around.
It's
No,
a
so
white spear. That is just a dart at this point.
So it was technically never required to actually go to the moon.
No, Darkness Crystal in this case is optional. It may be the preferred play. We just have to see what's actually here.
Yep.
Let's see, what would be rude here we haven't seen yet? I think D-Imps would be extremely rude at this point.
Now the imps would be interesting. Water hag?
Water Hag is also pretty punchy, yes. D-Imps are just triple punchy, and you don't really have anyone good to sweep with. I mean, you got Palom, but Palom is not a Blarger, and does not have the Avenger, and they punch really, really hard.
What about something like the guards or the officer and soldiers?
Officer Soldier is actually pretty nice to see here, because the officer will go away once you get the 3 guards down. They don't hit very hard. The Baron guards would be annoying here.
And Tallgrant is going to be facing the Lunar Dragons. Ooh.
Well, you had that one called. Ooh, this is an
Antlion.
Antlion.
Also not fun to see there.
In its natural habitat on the moon. It is very punchy here.
So we'll see what strategy Tallgrant has decided to go for dealing with these Lunar Dragons.
If there are enough Star Veils in the inventory, I think this is where we're using the Star Veils.
I would imagine.
We've got 3 of them.
Yep.
Now, you might use 1, we might use 2. I'm not sure how many he's going to go with.
These Lunar Dragons are moving fast and they are hitting hard. Antlion fight on Gilmok's side. Wow, did 1,500 damage that Palom. One shot. Working hard to get those blinks going.
Oh, must have a Dragoon Spear. Okay, that explains that. And the breath has landed. This is
D-Lunars have decided to become walk in the park. Reflecting that breath back has turned one of them into a frog. I'm hoping that heal spell is not headed for the D-Lunar.
It wouldn't work anyways, I don't think.
Aren't they technically undead?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, both runners got the Dragoon Spears. Thank you, Roddy, on tracking. Both runners got Dragoon Spears out of the Skull and Stalemate chest. And Tallgrant has defeated the Lunar Dragons, got a Moon Veil for that investment of Star Veils. And that does make, that may change the calculus on Valvolus, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure if it would change the calculus on Valvolus. I mean, it can, because if you get Kane with the White Spear to start with, and then you get the Moon Veil off, and then switch to the Avenger, the fight is free. You just have to actually get those couple turns off to do it.
Tallgrant now at 4 out of 6 goals. If he can take Valvolus out from the Queen spot here, he only needs to do Cave Bahamut or the Masamuna Altar. And
the good news is Tallgrant can. Because again, he's starting with the White Spear on Kane. So first action is going to be Kane is going to use the Moon Veil. Second action is going to use the Avenger, and it's put controller down time.
Take a break, grab a drink.
Yeah, and the Moon Veil will also block that stupid stone spell for quite some time. So yeah, this is not any sort of threat. Okay, chooses to jump.
And here comes Ray. Hella down almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And Antlion has been finished on Gilmok's side.
All right, GG. That is 2 objectives now for Gilmok.
Objective number 2 down. Here comes the throwing of the spoon. And there's a Moon Veil as well, yeah.
It's a Moon Veil type of seed here.
Tallgrant choosing, instead of Berserk, to continue jumping with that cane.
We've zerked up our edge in this case.
Yep. Gilmok headed back to the blue planet. The only unknown right now is, well, the Legend Sword and the Pink Tail.
Yeah,
Would
I'm
that
I'm a
mean
little.
they're would they be they be in the tower then, in the Babel Tower?
Uh,
Trying to
they
think if
could
that's the
still
only
be.
place we
They,
haven't
they
seen.
they could still be through ordeals or through the Twin Harp. I mean, we don't
Ordeals, yeah,
necessarily know.
that's true. Yeah,
Right. Val is
and
down for tallgrant. That is
Tallgrant,
5
yeah.
objectives, and with that Moonveil, that antline is not going to be necessarily too threatening. I mean, you have to watch for the counter, but that's not too bad necessarily.
Hey, a silver apple, how lovely.
I'm a little surprised Gilmok came back to Earth without doing Masa because only has availability to 6 items right now, or 6 objectives, and he's leaving one up on the moon. So that's means going back there at some
He
point.
hasn't checked this this check here. He hasn't.
Oh, he
Okay,
he
Field
knows
Seal
what's
Cave. He hasn't checked King and Queen Town of Monsters yet either, so he doesn't know what's there.
right. What I'm saying is, there's only 3 objectives you have access to right now on the Earth. And it's like you left one up on the moon when you have only access to 6. I'm just not quite sure if you think that
Why
maybe
not
it's
at least
easier to
check?
get.
Yeah.
Maybe things can find it down here on Earth, but that is a. Well, actually, he knows it's on Earth somewhere. You can, but just like how bad is the chain? Well,
Up comes the whale, Tallgrant.
it is not a sub-hour organ mic, but it is pretty close for tallgrant.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like this is Tallgrant's run to lose at this point.
Don't think he's gonna have too many problems with the antline. I mean, as long as that moon veil is tossed off, I mean, all he has to worry about at that point is the counters, and they're not gonna hurt too badly on Kane.
And Gilmok challenging Pale Dim.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll never know what the music is from the Twin Harp.
Well, ours might show it to us after the seed is over with, possibly, or we'll see in the spoiler log what the item is at least. How much of a bet's the legend sword at this rate?
I don't think Pale Dim is long for this world on Gilmok's side.
No, that dragoon lance is doing work over there. Down it goes. That's 3 out of 6.
Yep. Tallgrant, meanwhile, taking the final walk up to Antlion.
And is
Antlion,
going
King of the
in.
Monsters. Yep. Immediately
Moonveil comes
throwing that
out.
Moonveil. Yep.
We're throwing an
And
X-Cal.
Edge is darting. I mean, this is your last fight, so might as well throw everything in.
Yeah, kitchen sink, family car, grill, everything.
Kane swapping that white spear for the Avenger. Tella down. And here come the counters. Ooh.
Yep. So we'll need at least a little cure on Kane there, I think.
Potential issue being the Moonveil.
Oh, that's right. We got an elixir.
Mm-hmm.
Elixir says, "Aha!" to your wall.
Gilmok finally going into the Fey March.
He's gonna find the bad news. It's like the pan was here all along, and unfortunately, that kind of held a little bit of the way forward there.
Yep. Links to the hook. So There's the pan for Gilmok.
Bring up other targets to the antlion to hit. Very smart.
Yep. The antlion uses that counter as a counter, obviously, anytime he gets hit by a fight command, correct?
Yeah, anything that's fight, or in this case, the auto Zerk. And that's GG for tallgrant.
Tallgrant has completed the seed. GG, Tallgrant, congratulations.
And just for the heck of it, we get another Moonveil that we're just going to stick in the pile of unused items.
Mm-hmm. Well, you never know. You might need it for the next fight.
What, the fight with the commentators in the chat booth?
Well, we can be pretty nasty opponents sometimes. Gilmok taking on the D-Lunars in the King of Monsters spot.
Yeah, we'll see if Tallgrant will come in for an interview in a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like...
I'd say that's a yes.
GG.
Hey everybody, how we doing tonight?
Huh. You gave us a good one. I enjoyed it. It was a nice birthday present. Thank you.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a couple of things that did not quite go my way and a couple of other things I would have liked to have done differently, but ultimately felt like that worked out pretty well.
Can you tell us what you would have liked to have done differently?
Not open into Eblin Castle. I just didn't quite have the damage, and a couple of those fights were really slow. I think this party would have benefited a lot by just doing an initial loot through there, getting out of there, and then going over to run up Hobbs and Antlion early, and then coming back coming back in there when I had some sort of gear that would let me kill stuff. I mean, I would have loved to have, if I'd had any sort of money, I would have picked up that rune axe as I came out of Kaipo at the very beginning. That would have made the Mad Ogre chest an awful lot better for a lot of reasons. And that would have been good. I'm still angry at Mylon for taking out Palom like that too, because that messed up Warp Glitch and put me in a bit more panic than I probably had to be in for this seed.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
I mean, I got in the fight, and the whole plan was get in there. Rosa knows Blink. We can Blink Palom. It'll be fine. And then I see him, and I'm about to. I think opened the white menu and pulled up Blink, and I said, "Wait a second, he's just going to throw lightning." So I'm sitting there throwing Cure 2 on him, and then he frickin' comes out and just straight up hits him for 321. And I'm like, why didn't I cast Blink?
Yeah, that was a bit of a rough one. We were wondering how it was going to take you to get back around to the darkness, because we did see it then on Gilmok's side from the Warp Glitch. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I figured Gilmok would be a little craftier and get that done. So, but as soon as I saw that Luca key in hand, the kind of thought when it happened was, I don't want to reset out of it and do this fight. I've already been in here for a minute and a half or so, and if there's going to be something important behind Luca key, it'll turn up. I was, my heart was sinking the whole time though, as the Earth Crystal and the Harp and the Baron key were there, and those are long checks, and I don't want to have to be digging around for it, but. I was kind of prepared to do that if I had to.
Yeah, but luckily the old rule of do the objectives first kind of worked out in your favor this time.
Yeah, and that pan was clutch. I mean, I felt so much better. Even the Luca key felt okay, but getting the hook in my hands, that was the number one thing. Is I was sitting there thinking, man, the hook is going to be in there. And then, of course, as I came off the hook route, I kind of looked at my editor. I'm like, ooh, I didn't check that rat tail. That could be something. Turned out to be nothing, but, you don't leave that behind. All right, there's our adamant rock.
Oh, where was it? Oh, wait, we knew that where it was. Never mind.
It's Baron Throne, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had seen that. Sorry, I thought it was a legend, so I was in my mind is what I'm looking for.
I mean,
on the pink tail.
Oh, where's the pink tail?
Don't know yet. I'm watching your
Oh, you're watching the thing.
Yeah, so, haven't seen it yet.
But GG's, I'm so happy to get to race Gilmok. He and I have been in asyncs doing stuff together for a little more than 3 years now. So to get to draw him in the tournament is really special. And I've been really excited about this race all week.
Yeah, we're being advised it was top a tower with the Golbez that was there.
Yeah, I wasn't going up there. I saw him coming off the hook route, and it's kind of like, oh, last resort. And then of course I get the tower key, and it's like, and so it was kind of, that was probably next on my list if Sealed Cave didn't have what I wanted in it. But it stinks to lose that extra time. It's nice that the routing worked out really well. It felt like it flowed really nicely, and that Moonveil was really clutch, just because it set up the antline fight at the end so neatly. I mean, and that antline really went for Kane quite a bit, which was beneficial for it. So just throw all the things and do a little life pot roulette, and worked out pretty well. I mean, that is, for as hard as that Fey March could have been, that worked out really, really neatly for me. And I mean, Kane was by far the superstar of this seed.
Yeah, it was good you pulled that Avenger pretty early. I mean, even though you didn't have the might the first time, but I don't think Gilmok ever went back and grabbed it. I don't think he ever saw it was there.
Yeah, it kind of felt a little bad to have to backtrack to get it, but it's just so good to have. And the fact that other weaponry turned up for Kane was nice, and I could have theoretically had Rosa cast Berserk, but I knew she was going to be RA5 the whole time, and I'd rather have her just ready to cast Blink to get those early critical spells to get a difficult fight off the ground done. And I don't know. I like rolling with the Avenger Kane. Maybe I would have done a little better in Sealed Cave if I'd, taken my time, had the Dragoon Lance ready, and then properly Berserk Kane through that fight. But, you do what you can in the moment. You want to go as fast as possible. And, if I'd pulled something in there like Dark Imps, I'd have wanted to get started as fast as possible.
Yeah, totally fair.
That seemed to work out for you pretty well. So.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, this is the kind of party I like to run. It's fun playing with Tella. I'm happy that the Ordeals Fade worked out. I'm always a little bit nervous when Tella pops up that, there was, I never saw the 7th character, but it kind of, as the seed went on, as soon as the Magma Key got in my hands, it's like, okay, Ordeals is going to be pretty low in the totem pole of checks, probably after I finished everything else underground I could do.
Yeah, we did see who the 7th was. It was the guy.
It was the guy. Where was he?
Baron.
Baron. Yeah.
Baron. Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
but as it turned out, Gilmok decided by the time you actually saw him in the seed, it's like, it's too late. There's already in go mode. It's like, it Ordeals is 5 minutes, and
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. If you got enough power, I mean, Cecil's definitely faster, but is he 4 minutes faster with what we saw in there? Probably not. In fact, Kane was uniquely set up to do that D-Lunar fight. Kane is absolutely necessary to do that Valvalis fight, and there's actually better Kane ways than Cecil ways through that Antline fight. So, rare seed where Cecil, late Cecil's not the answer. I know he will be at some point, but he wasn't tonight.
I think that's totally fair. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, when you see dealers with Cecil, it's like, well, Cecil, you're just sitting here covering until we get the breath off. You can't do much else other than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean jump is fun. It's neat to find situations where jump is useful, because I mean, I love Kane, I love the Dragoon, I love that jump thing. It's like, wow, that's neat. And as far as from an efficiency perspective, it generally isn't Kane's best move, but it certainly worked out in a couple of fights tonight. So
yeah, definitely. So any thoughts on the pool round or the flag set, or looking forward to brackets?
I'm looking forward to brackets. It's going to be a lot of fun. I actually really love this flag set. I was telling Scarsor earlier today that I actually like this better than the potion party that it's descended from. There's just something about tightening it up where there's just a few less checks in it and a few more things to make it tricky that I think really put it in a good place that feels really good to play. I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I might be ready for something else in a month or so, but I love my teammates. I love getting a chance to play with Brick and Elvin. Not that there's a bunch of other people I don't love in the community, but at the last team tournament, I missed a chance to team up with them, and it's really, really, really fun to get to share it with this time around. So we're hoping for good things in brackets, and we'll see where we get seated and what ends up happening.
All right, sounds good. Enjoy your week off. Give it a nice little chance to recharge.
You bet. Be safe, everybody out there tomorrow on the 4th of July. And, oh, by the way, thank you, all of you, for doing the restream. I believe we have, let's see, Garen and, was it Demarine we're calling it tonight? Or
No.
That was actually last night.
That was last night. I'm sorry. I'm looking in the wrong room, aren't I? That's Demarines on the next race for those of you who are staying tuned. But all right, thank you, Garen and Glue, for calling it, and for Mike, it was you. Glue is the restreamer, and Roddy Snipers is our tracker. I appreciate that. Yes. Keep an eye on them. Also, all of you, kudos to my opponent Gilmok. If you haven't checked him out, you should. It's a entertaining stream, especially if you love your F-Zero music. So thank you guys very much. Have a good night.
Take care. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for doing the run. And I think we have Gilmok in here now as well.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there we are.
Good. I'm going to turn down some volume on my sound real quick because I cannot hear you very well. So, oops, I don't want to mute everything.
Would argue that's a good thing.
Come on, open up a mount, Mr. Sorry. Volume mixer. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this was needs to go down. Okay, I think we're ready to go now.
All right. Well, GG, and a well-run seed, even if you didn't get through it all. You were basically
I just wanted to see where I just wanted to see what I was going to get from the pan, and if it wasn't the adamant, I'm like, I saw a hook, it's like, I don't really want to do a hook route. It's over, so... I do the hook route game, good GG. And, add another, 3 or 4 minutes to that time, and then I'm done. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I did want to see what came from the pan, and yeah, I don't know. I was looking for key items, and you're racing against tallgrant. I really wasn't expecting this to be a win, so but I just did my best. I did my best. I never give less than my best. So
yeah, it was a great race, and in point of fact, you had an advantage over tallgrant for a while because you had the warp spell at the dwarf castle. He did not. You had darkness for a while he didn't. It just turned out that then he took the pan when you didn't, and that's where he got his go mode off of it with the hook and the Luca key.
Okay. Because yeah, I probably I checked Baron. That's not a check I usually do, and I was getting kind of worried with the early key items. They weren't coming, so I'm like, gosh, I'm doing Zot. That's kind of slow, but it's still 2 key items. I'm doing Baron. This feels weird. But I did it. So
I mean,
I was committed to that ordeal's fade. It's like I saw the Cecil. I'm like, I know there's a crystal sword in Agart. I know it's there, but I'm not doing ordeals. I'm not doing it. So
at that point of the seed, that's totally fair. And
I have edge. I have Kane. I have enough attack power. So it's like it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it turned out the ordeals had nothing of value anyways, so it would have been time lost just getting the paladin online. It's like, are you ever gonna make the 5 minutes back up in FBF? Probably not. It's just too long of a time.
I was also wondering what was going on with the low damage from my Palom, and then I looked. Oh, he's got the assassin. I thought, okay. There was that little check after the last arm. But yeah, I was kind of worried about Palom's damage. It's like, this is not where it should be.
Yeah, when you take a multiplier off by using the assassin dagger, it's always a bad time.
So, yeah.
The only other thing that was really kind of a deciding thing in this race was, Tallgrant had the Avenger, and I don't think you found it. So
I might have actually found the Avenger. I just never used it because I wanted to jump with Kane instead of put him in the front row. So I mean, Edge was enough of an Avenger for me. Maybe that slowed me down a bit. I don't know. I kind of played it, a little bit more defensively, but
Well, in this flag set, we do give you the dwarf axe in the starting kit to back row the Kane, so he could be in the back row doing that Avenger stuff.
Okay, yeah, that is true. Okay, I didn't know that about the dwarf axe, so.
It's the only thing that'll back row him, so that's a good thing to remember for the future for the FBF seeds. It's like that's we give you that so that Kane actually, you don't have to work at getting him back row to try and find it lucky somewhere.
Okay, well that's good to know. But I did like my jump attacks. So I mean, yeah, okay. So they were slower. All right.
Hey, yeah, that is what it is. But you figure, it's always good to learn new things in the game. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helps out in the future.
We'll see if it does. It probably will come up again. So these things usually come up again. So yeah. Any other questions?
Oh, I always have a question of so for anyone watching tonight or listening, or those of us who are maybe a little less experienced, what would you like? What lesson would you like us to take away from your run tonight?
Um. Well, I'm just going to tell you how practice has been going. I mean, this is a randomizer that does actually require a lot of practice, because you can have your set route, but as you go through things, you'll need to learn about the roadblocks that come up, the things that derail you, opportunities that come up, and it's just by practice that you can get, as many permutations as you can from this, so that you can identify what are my roadblocks, what are the opportunities, what can I, how can I have my set route, but what can I add and subtract to it based on what comes up, and that comes from practice. So there you go.
Some good advice there.
There's no royal road to free enterprise.
That is true. Although some people might argue that fading the harp is one of the such roads. There's disagreement about that, but
Yeah, that's something you learn to do. So it's
All
too
right.
bad that Magnus didn't come up as an objective. But I did watch the last race I did, and I did take notes. I know that you wanted to see Job Dwarf, so I gave you Job Dwarf. Are you happy?
It was nice seeing a poppy farmer up there.
Yes.
It's just a meme. You don't actually have to, pay attention to what we say.
I pay attention to all feedback, so there you go.
All right. Well, we hope you had fun at the very least. And GG in any future races, and we hope to see you again.
Yeah,
Put on a
I
good
hope
show
to
for
see you
us. Thank
too. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Cheers.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
And I think that's about it from us.
Yeah, we don't have any raid to give you tonight, unfortunately, but it's kind of late here on the East Coast. It is heading into a holiday in the US for those who have the day off. Enjoy your day off. Hopefully with some nice barbecue or grilled items. We do have some races, though, tomorrow if you want to add those to your festivities. We have one restream tomorrow. It is at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern on the main Free Enterprise channel. That is going to be Elven Sorrow versus Golden Shocker, and that'll be on the Free Enterprise Prime channel. So if you have time in your holiday plans or wherever you are to see that, come and give us a visit there and watch an excellent race being put on by those runners. And even though not restreamed, a couple other races going on tomorrow night. We've got John Burkhead versus Boney at 4 o'clock Eastern. We've got Flurry versus Commander Leonhardt at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then we've got me versus Invenius at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And rounding it out, we've got Tybalt versus I Am Demar at 11 o'clock Eastern. So you can have an all-day for Enterprise party going if you want.
It's a busy schedule for all of you. Me, I'm
Indeed,
just gonna
although
take the day in, and it's not. I'm not in America, so I don't have the day off. But or I have the day off, but not because of the 4th of July. But it's the kind of the end of my vacation, and I will be enjoying it and perhaps catching some Free Enterprise and watching it and giving my mother a call because it's her birthday tomorrow.
oh, that's nice. I heard that your birthday was today, so it's kind of a
Yep.
fun thing there.
Yes,
I
this is a
think
fantastic present.
I think you had the 1st of July as a holiday, didn't you?
I did. I was on vacation anyway, so it wasn't much of one, but yeah.
Anything anything in a pinch, you know.
Yeah,
All right. To round it out here, we do want to give a shout out to Drinks Glue for doing the restream and rolling the seed that we had tonight, and Rowdy Roddy Sniper for pushing all the buttons. Always can't put on the restreams without the help of the volunteers behind the scenes and the racers. So again, give a shout out to Tallgrant and Gilmok. Go and watch their Twitch feeds. Always a great watch. And if you want to join the Discord, if you get involved in Free Enterprise, we'd be happy to have you.
you don't have to be a runner or a racer. You don't have to be a racer. You don't have to be a runner. You can look like me, and I haven't run a seed in years, but I'm still having fun commenting. There's lots of room for volunteering or just being a part of the community. So we'd always be happy to have you.
All right, and with that, I think it's time to say goodnight, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. So thank you, Gurren, and thank you all of us for all of you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again before next year. Take care.
Yep, have a good night.